guys late at night are kind of like, having fun, and hey, let's make the guy jump higher. They laughed. So it was really interesting, the organic, coming together of these now unique things: fire, somersault, over the top dunks, that kind of thing. So yeah, I walked in at the right time, but I'd established myself as someone that they trusted, versatile voice, and I love sports. My whole life, I love sports, love acting. So it was really kind of the perfect combination. And then NFL Blitz was offered right afterwards. Slugfest, the baseball game, NHL hit. So suddenly I'm like the voice of Midway Sports.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, going back to NBA Jam, was there a script ready? Was there anything, or were they just,
That's
did they just let you go
real
on?
easy. The only real stuff going on back in that day was the game of the week with Marv Albert. That's where you got your basketball. He was the voice of basketball. So the producer John Hay, who also wrote that great theme music, he basically would sit around Sunday afternoon, write down what he heard. So I don't have any problem saying it now. Like I would like to say I'm the origin, script writer, and it was all improvised. I came up with Boom Shakalaka, but it was just basically phrases that came from the Sunday game of the week from Marv Albert. And actually, I'm going to give him credit. Like, he's on fire and he's heating up. Those were his phrases.
Right.
And but Boom Shakalaka was a guy who was listening to Sly and the Family Stone down the hall, and in the song "I Want to Take You Higher" in the chorus goes Boom Shakalaka, Boom Shaka, bam, I want to take you higher. And the guy goes, hey, tell Tim to say Boom Shakalaka. And I go, what's Boom Shakalaka? He goes, I don't know, just say it. Boom Shakalaka. So totally, literally, like all out of thin air from down the hall, a guy yelling to my producer, tell Tim to say Boom Shakalaka. But the reason I mentioned, like, I don't have a problem saying it was just, a simple script. It was a basic script. Maybe that's one of the reasons it stuck, because it's so, like, just straight ahead and single phrases we all remember, and it's punched up, superlatives anytime you do something good or bad. A little trash talking, can't buy a bug, puts up a brick, rejected, that kind of thing. But later on, I did all of the writing for, like, Slugfest, almost all of it for NFL Blitz, and that was the comedy and the performance stuff that I always wanted from Second City. I'm creating content. Content is way different than coming in and just reading a script. When you make the universe, like an Adult Swim, if someone showed you, the Family Guy, and they have all the images of, well, what's the stories? So the stories is where, over the years, the NBA Jam with EA Sports in 2010 and 11, Mutant Football League, which I've done, Slugfest, that's all my creation. That's what I'm most proud of, more than anything in this business, is the content.
Right, and so you wrote a lot of stuff. There's probably some stuff that were like, Tim, you went too far. We can't say that for a video game. I know, yeah. I see you after the show. Yeah. What is something like, gosh, this is funny, man, it didn't make it in?
That doesn't really happen, because it's kind of like when the light is on. When the light is on, I'm giving it my best, and then when my brain starts to fry, and we just need to have a little, comic relief, or just like, I'll just improvise and do some stuff that actually wound up. We did a kind of an X-rated version of NBA Jam when we were doing the home version for Acclaim in Cincinnati or something. We had a producer that was kind of a dirty mind. He always like dirty jokes. So he goes, hey, my boss, it'd be really funny if you said, like, get that shit out of here, or grab some Johnson. And just had me, his name was like, it was like a second or third grader, like fart jokes. Just like, it made him happy to say vulgar things. Right. So I did it because he was hiring me and it was his boss. And someone took that and they stuck it in a game. They actually put it into a game, and then somehow that, when it shipped, it was actually, for a while it was there, and then they hid it, but a hacker found it, and so.
Oh no.
Yeah. If you Google, like, X-rated version of NBA Jam, it's out there.
Well, I know I'm doing after the show. How about you guys, right? We're gonna put that bad boy on the ground.
Is everyone, like, is this an M mature audience? I don't see any kids in here, right?
It's right there.
Okay.
It's fine.
Because some of the stuff
like he's flying.
Well, well, first I want to know who you guys are first, and just a stop moment of like, thank you for coming. End of the day, after a long weekend, means not to be 4 o'clock. You want to kind of pack up and do things. So just being here means a lot to me. And the pinball aspect. Who plays pinball or knows the pinball stuff here? Yeah. And you guys stop by and your pinball stuff. So my origin story, I told you, started out with pinball, and the fact that I saw that whole industry basically crash and die, and they closed the factory down, and Chicago is and was, you know, the home of pinball and gaming, just gaming period, all slots and everything. To see it rise from the ashes, and then I worked with Stern after it came back, doing a Deadpool, a cameo on Deadpool, and the Elvira House of Horrors, and NBA pinball that as well. To see the industry come back, and then to see the video game industry, arcade end, kind of come back, and it's still coming back. And with that, I will tell you that the last arcade NBA licensed game was Showtime. So after Jam, you know, there was Hang Time, which I didn't do, but then Showtime. Two of the guys who worked at Midway have a company in Chicago, Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics, and they are developing the newest NBA licensed game, which is going to be out early this summer, and I'm going to voice it. So,
Hey.
30 years later, full circle.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
A 75-inch monitor, a 4-inch control panel, and subwoofers. It's going to be like that at Dave & Buster's. So if you have a Dave & Buster's, look for it.
Oh my goodness.
It's a 4-on-4 too.
I have one by my house, so I'll
But
send you a
it
video.
really excites me that a new generation of young gamers, you know, from whatever, pee-wees, you know, up to, you know, young teens, preteens, whatever, they're going to have their first moment of having an arcade game that they can call their own. It's not their dad's game, you know, it's not a hand-me-down, it's not nostalgia, and it's going to be the current players, current rosters with the high-definition, great artwork, digital artwork. So I'm really excited to see the way they look at it, is it, you know, going from phones and pads and small stuff or whatever, and to the sim games that are long, and it's kind of like zombie-like guys and shooting foul shots and kind of boring for the voiceover in sim games. They're recreating a broadcast, which is just crazy to me. Like, you know, it's very calm. It's like, and this guy worked at his three-pointer in the off-season. There's that kind of shot. He's got to hit that in that situation. When the guy gets his head, it's like, come on. It's not entertaining. It's like, for me, that's just me. You know, if it's a video game, there has to be something added to it. There has to be some heightened sense of reality, fun, or entertainment to make it entertainment. Why just live in this world of like simulate exactly what you see? So that's my thing for this new game is I'm putting the juice back in the game, and I can't wait to see how it's received by the young gamer generation.
Right on. I mean, they couldn't pick a better guy.
And the young NBA players who weren't even born when NBA Jam came around, they're going to be in the game for the first time, and in a game that they can just like get into, spend 5-10 minutes. That was always the fun thing about Jam. You don't have to commit an hour like 2K or whatever. So the young NBA players are going to see themselves like in that like huge thing with all that power and noise and fast pace. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like I was saying, they couldn't have picked a better person to do it. No lie. So you've been a lot. I'm glad to see that it's full circle, going around first circle. That's amazing. Out of all the projects that you have done thus far, what's your? I guess it's two questions. What's your favorite one that you've done? What's the one that you hold closest to the heart? And then what's your favorite line that you besides? I mean, not the boom shot.
All right, here's
the one that you love.
Downstairs, they had a tournament going at a couple hours ago. MLB Slugfest. Anybody a Slugfest fan or know the game here? That was our baseball version of NBA Jam NFL Blitz. Crazy, over the top in that you can like punch guys when they're on base. You can go out and fight a guy on the mound. You can catch fire and all that stuff. But otherwise, it sounds, plays, looks like a realistic baseball game. It's flawless in its delivery and speech, but because I wrote the script and now I'm 20-something years away from it, I was watching it and I was just dying of laughter. The guy that I had as my partner, and once again I wrote the script, so I don't remember any of the lines, and just in the middle of like, it steps up, there's no 1-2 count. Hey Tim, you ever been in a car accident? In the middle of nowhere, and I go. Matter of fact, just last night, Jim, I pulled into the motel late and asked the guy where to put the car. I said, pull around back. Wound up in the pool. Pretty vague directions for a guy late at night, if you ask me. Now they're trying to pin it on me. Just like weird stuff. So, like, anybody who watched Mystery Science Theater?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Like making fun of the bad movies. That's what I like to do. So when you don't expect something, suddenly there's this. And then Mutant Football League is the other game that I did a few years back. A post-apocalyptic weird world. Every team has a parody name. You know, the Green Bay Attackers, the San Francisco Scary Niners, and Bomb Shady. So creating that Adult Swim, Looney Tunes kind of world of crazy over-the-top artwork and gore, but in a very comical way to make it funny was one of the most satisfying things. And originally it was me as Grim Blitzrow, because I had to have an alter ego like Bomb Shady. And this wonderful guy that I met at my agency, Derek, who his whole life he's like, I can't believe I'm going to be in a video game, because I told my guy, this has got to be my partner. He's going to do the other two voices. And after a couple recording sessions, he sadly passed away. He went on a honeymoon, caught a parasite somewhere in the Caribbean, and passed away before the game ever came out. And then I said, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to do both his voices to make sure that he hasn't to be taken out of the game. So a lot of what you hear in the first versions is him, but then my stuff is spliced in, what I love, because he's just such a dear, sweet man to when I go, is that him or me? It's like and the fun of like, you know, hearing that he will be alive forever in that game. And it was, I mean, sad and wow.
You're imitating him doing his voice.
But we would sit around for a couple weeks while we were coming up with a script, and we were trying to find the voices and the characters and how many characters. And one of my ideas was there's all kinds of nuclear fallout and radiation. So I said, how about instead of just one guy, because like with comedy you always have to have the foil, like the give and take. How's he going to play off him? And if it was just this guy who's kind of gruff, that could get old. So I said. And it ended up, we're just actually like trying out voices. We were both, improv guys, and suddenly we hit on it. And so the character for Bricks actually ends up kind of like a cross between Uncle Fester and Curly from the Three Stooges.
You know, my foot's on fire again, I think it. Well, it's too close to the space heater, you idiot.
So it was just fun that we both came up with it at the same time. And I said, live on. And we've got a new version of that for new Football League fans to be out, hopefully at the end of the year. Another very sad thing is that our dev team is in the Ukraine. Something you never think about, like how, we're like, people are like, where's the new game? I thought you guys would make the new game. Like, well,
we're going through a war here.
They're like in basements and, dodging shell fire. And two of the guys got out. So yeah, we'll see what happens as far as getting it completed.
Wow. I don't know if I knew that story. Because that's the beauty of that. You guys got to sit down. You guys talked about the characters, and you knew what he had planned, what you had planned, and then you were able to put, just to, I guess, solidify what he did in that game, that it wouldn't be taken. That's awesome. Yeah. That is pretty cool. And so I don't want to hog all my time. Is there anyone that has a question? I just make sure. Is there anyone that has a question? There, here we go, right there.
Do you have do you have a favorite line for NFL Blitz?
Oh, that's what I was going to kind of slugfest. Like in the end, I mean,